Hello guys, it is RidderSE2, and I'm bringing you another 1v1 game. This time it is a Platinum level replay, and it is a Zerg versus Protoss on Tal'Darim Altar. Why are there so many games on this map? I don't know, maybe because this map is so awesome, and because it's so cool looking, with these cool little geometric designs in the middle. I don't know, there's something about this map that is just, I love it. I love it. If I could play every single game on this map, I would, gladly. And, but anyways, back to introducing the players here. We have Jugdish, the red Zerg, spawning in the upper left-hand corner. And his opponent, in the blue corner, weighing it at 5 probes exactly, except for the fact that he has more now, is the blue Protoss, StrangrDangr. Quite a unique name he's got there, StrangrDangr, leaving out the E's. Trying to fit it all into the limited character cap that Blizzard has put on us mere humans. And anyways, back to the game here. Both players macroing heavily, remembering their workers, remembering to macro the macro, and drones popping out. Pretty awesome. And as we can see here, StrangrDangr is doing his little wall in down south. And by south I mean closer to his natural expansion. It's kind of interesting. It's I mean, you can wall in pretty easily right in here. Just drop the wall as normal back in there. And as we can see by our red Zerg throwing down the early pool before getting the expansion, as most people used to like to do. I don't know, I've seen a lot more early pools as compared to what I normally see. And well, there we go, guys. StrangrDangr dropping down the second gateway. I guess we'll probably see some sort of early cheesy type of pressure. Probably go just heavy zealot, just rush in with zealots, try and do as much damage as you can. Particularly effective because zealots are very effective against zerglings, so it works well against Zerg, at least unless the Zerg places down lots of spine crawlers if they scout it. But then he's also getting his assimilator, I guess to get gas when he eventually gets Cybernetics core. We'll see what he has in store for us. Getting out the zealot, chrono boosting out the zealots. It's good to see the chrono boost getting used. Sitting there, he's still got 46 chrono boosts saved up. Chrono boosting the probes as well. And Jugdish, what are you doing? What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Saving up those minerals. Very high minerals. We'll see what he does with those. Getting the Roach Warren. Wow, this game is just, yeah. I'm slightly confused. Yeah, I like the double gateway wall off. Although I would have put the second Cybernetics core here, or not even by second Cybernetics core I mean the Cybernetics core. Put the Cybernetics core here, and drop the second gateway here to complete the wall in, and just so you can sort of get that warp gate started faster. Because that warp gate finishes, you know, with a normal when you get a normally timed Cybernetics core, you can, by the time the Cybernetics core is finished, you'll have enough gas to start warp gate research and to get a stalker. Usually, you know, you have around 100 gas, depending on extraneous circumstances. And whoa, guys, I'm not paying attention, and I glance back up, and there's a hatchery inside the Protoss base here, guys. This is pretty crazy. I'm pretty excited already. And he also throwing down his own natural. So that's what he had. That's what he had all those minerals saved up for, getting that the proxy hatch. Oh man, guys, this is pretty interesting. I'm very entertained. And the probe scouting up here, probe scouts it, and he instantly pulls the sentry and the zealot to deal with this. He's trying to counter this little cheesy aggression as fast as he can. And these two roaches streaming down. Guys, this is crazy. And just throwing down the forge, trying to protect the front of his base with cannons. He knows something is going to be coming. And, wow. As we can see here, this is awesome. He's getting the queen from the proxy hatch and getting a roach from the proxy hatch. And the two other roaches are scuttling in. But the Protoss player is supply blocked. Or he was, now he's not. I finished perfectly. I say it and I eat my own words, guys. I eat them. But, yeah, these roaches coming in, trying to picking off the zealot, walling it in, and these broodlings going to town, killing stuff. This roach pops out and just marches over here to do as much damage to these probes as he can. Probes valiantly trying to fight off this roach as its scything blades just deal intense amounts of damage. And continue to build mass amounts of roaches. He's, you know, not doing anything but roaches, marching his roaches in to try and at least do some damage. If you look at the Harvester count, Harvester is intensely in our Protoss player's favor, as he's been building constant probes, even in the face of all this extensive aggression. And the Zerg player is continuing to stream roaches in, although now he's sort of switched it up, getting back to droning pretty hard, trying to catch up that little economic differential that has developed between the two players. And yeah. Anyways, building his queens, getting his spawn larva going. The key to any effective Zerg economy is going to be that spawn larva, as I've said many times before. And guys, I don't know what he's thinking, but I like his thoughts. He's persevering. He read the little engine that could, and he took that lesson to heart. He's continuing to try to build this hatchery, and by golly, he's going to get it. And as his roaches march in, the roaches picked off the pylon. Roaches just dealing damage as much as they can, just being a pestilence, just being annoying. And although he's still behind in harvesters, despite trying to catch up, building more roaches, he's trying to exploit this brief advantage that he has. Although this gateway's been repowered into a warp gate, and should be able to build another stalker. He wants to continue to build stalkers in the face of all these roaches. But by now he shouldn't be building sentries. He shouldn't be building zealots. He should just focus entirely on stalkers. And if the Zerg decides to go do some sort of crazy tech switch, it can kind of bite him if he just builds a massive spawn of Zerglings. But because he's going mainly roaches, just building lots of stalkers is going to help him. Definitely. And as we can see here, the Zerg player has caught up. Basically, he's used his advantage effectively and built himself into the lead. And this hatchery going down again in the face of the might of the probe army and single stalker, and broodlings marching in trying to take out this stalker. Will they get it? And they kill it. And again, I actually saw a build where you build a evolution chamber in your opponent's base, and when they kill it, those broodlings come out and just do a ton of damage. It's the broodlings themselves are never really seen as an offensive unit, at least not the broodlings from a building, but they're actually pretty effective. And these roaches just continue to wail away at these buildings that were the wall. The wall now remaining destroyed. These roaches being the equivalent of those Eastern Berlin citizens tearing down the Berlin Wall as they grew tired of the Soviet oppression. And they're marching in, picking up this stalker. These two cannons doing, at least a small amount of damage, picking off the roaches. But as we can see here, he's got 14 Zerglings on the way. Just rush through, run entirely past the cannons, and just do as much economic damage as they can. But if we look back to the supply counts, Jugdish is back down, at least somewhat closer than he was before. He's built... Wait... Did I miss something, guys? Yeah. Yeah, guys, we're jumping back in this video because just about the craziest thing I've ever seen happened, and I totally missed it. And now we're going back and we're going to catch this. As we can see here, in the back of the Zerg base, while this attack is going on, while these roaches are moving in to take out this pylon, our Protoss player built a pylon in the back of the Zerg player's base, and is now beginning to build photon cannons. This is back. This is back. The second hatchery that the Zerg player built. The second hatchery when he's doing a lot of damage with these roaches. The Protoss player, in an epic display of game prowess, snuck his probe back here and is building photon cannons. And this is astounding, guys. I was so stunned and amazed, and I was so sad that I missed it. And I didn't want you guys to miss this too. And I felt I had to rectify my mistake. And as we can see here, these photon cannons just wailing away at these drones. This is just, as we can look at the Harvesters tab, Wow. And this photon cannon is within range of the Roach Warren. And you heard my astoundedness as I looked back at the Zerg base and noticed that there was no Roach Warren. Well, now we know why. And I just had to share this with you guys, I must say. But as we can see, Jugdish is building these a large spawn of roaches, hopefully to deal with the photon cannons in the back of his base, which I'm sure is what these are for. And pretty soon we'll probably see him, you know, while dealing with this down here, move these roaches in to take out these cannons. But not before his Roach Warren is taken out. I must say, that's some pretty epic stuff, guys. And I'm dreadfully sorry that I missed it, but I showed you anyways. So, as we can see, he built this large clutch of Zerglings. I don't know, is it a clutch, a pack, a gaggle? I don't know, a gaggle of Zerglings. I like a gaggle. You know, I also had another question. What is a mongoose? Mongoose? Is it a gaggle? I don't know. A gaggle of Zerglings, anyways. Taking out these cannons, rushing in. Roaches picking off these cannons. Cannons trying to do as much extra damage as they can. Cannons easily worth their weight in kills. That one cannon, the last to die, had 12 kills. And guys, that's just astounding. I'm stunned and amazed. This is one of the more epic games I've seen. And just back and forth. Hatcheries inside bases, cannons inside bases. Oh man, it's craziness. Now he's rebuilding this Roach Warren. Now we're back to the point that we were before, and trying to rebuild those drones. 6 drones coming out. Speed is almost finished, and the Protoss player dropped down his Nexus, wanting to sort of match the economic power, the ability to produce workers that the Zerg has. But if we look at the Harvesters, he's still ahead by 7, and will thusly have the economic advantage and be able to build as many units as he possibly can to defend against this attack, this assault of speedlings and roaches. Roaches struggling behind the slower unit, as the speedlings have those little wings that propel them along quite quickly. And StrangrDangr just continuing to build stalkers. In the face of this roach aggression, he wants to have the maximum advantage he can. Rebuilding this gateway should turn it into a warp gate sooner rather than later. And our esteemed Zerg player here, building lair tech and building an evolution chamber. We shall see what he has in store for us. At this point, I would say probably Hydralisks, very good against gateway units, and he hasn't scouted any sort of teching up from our Protoss player. Hydralisks eat stalkers and zealots and sentries alive. they just munch right through them, especially with roaches to tank damage. And just getting massive, he's getting extractors on every gas. So he wants to have lots of gas to mess around with and use to fuel his massive biological armies of doom. The Zerg, such a terrifying race. Just the whole concept of them. I'm feeling quite euphoric, guys, if you couldn't tell. I'm quite out there. I apologize for my ramblings, but not only is this game so awesome, but I'm casting it very, very late. And it's leading to a very interesting game, I must say. The Protoss player dropped down Robo, hopefully to get, you know, he might get Immortals, because he's scouted so many roaches. But, on the other hand, he could be getting Colossus. And if we see here, our Zerg player dropped down Spire, which, in the face of, he knows that there's forges, so there is the possibility of cannons, and he knows that the Protoss players went pretty stalker heavy, so the choice of mutas is maybe not the best. I wouldn't have done it personally, but I mean, we'll see if he can get it to work. And Protoss player just pushing out with his army. If we look at the army tab, he's got a massive advantage. Although, if we look on the production tab, the Zerg player is, you know, building a massive gaggle of Zerglings to sort of close that gap. And once those pop, we look back at the army tab. He's not even close back to the supply count that the Protoss player is, because Zerglings are not very supply efficient. They're not supply efficient units, but they are effective versus mass stalkers. So if he can mass more Zerglings, he can at least do some disproportionate amount of damage.